till I swear it was a 20-foot door. It was insane. I looked at that 20-foot door and I said, I'm not doing this. And I turned around and I walked away. I said, this is just not for me. I can't handle it. But they opened up the door right as I was walking away and they said, are you here for Toastmasters? I was like, yes. Well, come on in, sit right next to me. And I didn't want to be rude, so I sat right in and I sat through the meeting, and I still didn't expect to stay. In all honesty, didn't plan on staying. But there was a speaker. This particular speaker got up there and his name was Frank. And Frank made a mistake. He looked at the audience and he said, you know what? I forgot something very important. Let me rewind. And he continued. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, you can do that? Because in my world, I would have started the entire speech all over again. I joined that day and I only planned on staying for, maybe a couple of months, just until I got my feet wet. Well, life has a funny way of changing. You put one foot in front of the other. It's kind of like, I just keep going, just keep swimming, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And it always reminded me of that cartoon, Santa Claus, where they sing the song, put one foot in front of the other, and soon you'll be walking out the door. And that's what was happening. I just kept doing one foot in front of the other. But the door I was walking out of was leading to another area of Toastmasters. So as I started walking out the door here, putting that one foot in front of the other, someone asked me, hey, would you be willing to coach a club? I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. And I said, sure. What does that mean? It means that you get to help people build their club and become a stronger club in the district. I don't really know if I can do that. Well, we'll give you the tools to do that. Okay. And so I put one foot in front of the other and I became a coach. And I met amazing individuals in that club. And then an email came out. And the email was from a division director, which is one of the higher levels of Toastmaster, asking for someone to volunteer to run a training session. I thought, ooh, I could do that. Let me do that one. So I raised my hand. I put one foot in front of the other and I kept going. And before you knew it, I was doing this job and I was doing that job. And I was learning skills that I didn't know I needed. And that was what was so interesting about it, is because we look at Toastmasters and think, oh, this is all about public speaking. It's not. It is about you progressing to the next level. You taking that one step, putting one foot in front of the other. In the beginning, you give that icebreaker, that speech that's all about you. Hopefully you know you, and it's an easy speech. It's just 4 to 6 minutes. But after a while, you're like, hey, I got this. I can give a speech. I can be that timer. You put another foot out there and another, and you just keep going. And somehow, someone's going to notice you. And they're going to tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, I think you could be a vice president of membership or a sergeant at arms or whatever role. And you put one foot in front of the other and you just keep walking. And then that door opens and you keep walking and walking, and another layer of Toastmaster opens up. And the layers of Toastmasters are amazing because you start out at this club level and then you go to the area. And an area is where you get to work with 5 or 6 different clubs. And now you're starting to develop leadership skills. Leadership skills in Toastmasters? Here's the thing. Toastmasters' tagline is where leaders are made. Now, I've heard this for the past 15 years or 14 years and never thought about it because I joined for communication. But putting one foot in front of the other provided me that opportunity to actually hone my leadership skills. Let's rewind a little bit to when I joined, what my leadership skills were. Oops, there were none. You see, I owned my own business. It was a software company. And I was a boss. I was not a leader. And by now, everybody knows the difference. A leader inspires people to step up and do things, and a boss pretty much tells you what to do. Well, my husband and I, we owned our own software company. We had 10 people that worked with us, and every Monday we'd come in and we'd divvy up the workload and say, you do this, you do this. And everyone was like, okay. And they went off and did their own thing. But when I got into Toastmasters and I tried to do that, you do this, you do this, you do this, people looked at me like I was absolutely insane. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. And I remember thinking the first time was, oh, people have opinions about this stuff because in my world, you just assign the roles. I was not a leader, I was a boss. Becoming a leader took a lot of training. I remember that first meeting when I got shot down of, yeah, I don't want to do that. Thinking, okay, how do you make this work? How do you learn to lead? And so I stepped back to try and figure out a little bit more about a leadership journey, which I felt was incredibly important to do. Put one foot in front of the other, and I became the secretary, the treasurer, and I kept moving up the ranks of my local club. Then I became a coach. Wasn't really leading anyone there, but then I became a finance manager for the district. Still wasn't leading anyone, but I was understanding the ropes and I was understanding what Toastmasters offers because you see, you have your club, you have your area, you have your division, your district, and it just keeps going till you have hundreds of thousands of individuals from around the world. It doesn't stop unless you stop it. And if you keep putting one foot in front of the other, you don't know where you're going to stop. There I am, this entrepreneur, learning all these leadership skills. And I'm so excited that I understand how to work with people. I actually ask questions now instead of dictating. Here was the thing. That leadership skill was morphing over into my business. We had a software company. I was the lead programmer. I knew nothing about lead programming. I am a bootstrap programmer. I learned on the fly because that's what our company did. And I would not talk to the clients. I'm an introvert. I didn't want to talk to anybody. So when they called, I'd send them to different staff people that would pick up the phone and either sell them software or explain the process. And unless it was really, really difficult and they couldn't figure out how to explain this stuff, I didn't talk to anybody. I could spend a whole day only talking to the people in my office, and I was very happy. But Toastmasters provided me confidence. And it's insidious. If you think that you're going to get it in day one, it's not happening. But it does happen, and it happens slowly. One year, my husband asked me, hey, we've got a trade show coming up. Do you want to go? And I thought, oh God, I hate doing this. But now I've been a Toastmaster for like 4 years. And I said, okay, I'll go. So I went to this trade show. And in case you don't know, the trade show is made up of entrepreneurs who are all walking up to you, talking to you about your software, giving you questions, and actually giving you ideas of how you can improve things. And I remember sitting there, and the first person that walked up, his name was Tad. He'd been a client of ours for about 15 years. He looked at me and he goes, are you Lois? And I said, yes, I am. He goes, oh my gosh, I've talked to you maybe 4 times in our whole time of using your software, and I never knew what you looked like. This is so nice to meet you. And I stood up and I hugged Tad, and I was like, wow, I'm so happy to meet you. And before you know it, I was having this amazing conversation. But that wasn't the only person I was talking to. For 3 days, I thought I was just going to sit in the background and support my husband as he did this little sales thing. But I became the focal point for so many people because they had never met me. They'd heard about me. They knew I was there. But I was just this entrepreneur that was sitting in the background. Now they got to have a face to the name. My husband said to me, wow, Toastmasters has completely changed you. And I looked at him and I was like, what do you mean? He goes, hun, years ago, you would never have come to the trade show. And if you did come to the trade show, you would have made sure that you were stocking shelves or something so nobody would talk to you. It's like, oh yeah, that's true. That would be me. He goes, but look at you now. You talk to almost every individual. If someone had something to say, you asked them to sit down at the table and you were taking notes as you were listening to them. And I'm thinking, well, those are my active listening skills that I now have. That's it. There are so many things that you learn that you don't know you're learning. The active listening skills. That's a Toastmaster thing. When somebody gives you an evaluation, they can only evaluate if they're listening. That makes sense. My staff was much happier having a leader versus a boss. And I always wondered, why didn't anybody ever say anything earlier? Not that anybody ever quit because I was a boss, because I had people that had been there for decades, but they felt more engaged in the process because as a leader, you're inspiring people. And what was happening is people were providing more ideas. And it wasn't just me coming out and saying, we're doing this. Now it was questions like, what do you think we can do to enhance our website? Should we get a native Apple program? Should we do this? Should we do that? They felt valued because they had input into how our software was being developed. Years later, we sold the software company and I decided to start up my own CPA firm. Didn't expect it to go anywhere. Honestly, I'm probably the worst when it comes to imposter syndrome. But I thought, oh, this will be fun. I'll be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to help people open up a business. I'll just do something really small. Just this little boutique thing. I'll take 2 or 3 clients. So here we are 6 years later. And Toastmasters provided me the confidence to join Chamber, to join other organizations, not just Toastmasters, but to get out there and sell myself. Now, my husband wasn't doing the sales, I was. Right now, I have 12 employees. We probably pick up somewhere between 3 to 8 clients every other week, and we're growing. And it just keeps going and going. I attribute all of that to Toastmasters giving me the kickstart because I was putting one foot in front of the other and I just kept walking. And that is proof that when you keep going, when you put that one foot in front of the other, the return on investments is invaluable. But there is one trick to Toastmasters. You can't join and then sit there like this. No, you have to join and then say, hey, I'll be the timer. I'll be the off counter. I'll be a table topic master. You need to get engaged. You need to be part of the club, not just the person sitting in the back row. I'm so excited that I was able to do this. I joined the Helium Arm Club. That's when anybody asks the question, who can? My arm now just goes, oh, I can do that. And I'm proud of that because it also has given me so many invaluable lessons and things that I could join. So I encourage you, put one foot in front of the other, keep walking, let the door open, walk through the door and see what new landscape is available to you because the world opens up when you let it. Madam, Toastmaster of the Day.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lois. Oh my God. I don't even know how to remove this. How do I remove the spotlight? Betty, help me removing the spotlight if you can. Thank you so much. So much love for you, Lois. There's something that you say, your speech is full of nuggets, but something you said how Toastmasters made you confident. And I like to say Toastmasters has made me bold, which is I've been bold enough to ask for a raise, bold enough to go into entrepreneurship, all of that just because of Toastmasters. And I hope that this helps everyone else out here. Now, let me introduce our second speaker. Thank you so much, Lois, for that. Our second speaker, I am so proud of him. He is coming all the way from Pakistan tonight. So it's like 10 p.m. or something over there, that is commitment. I love that. This speech reflects one of the key lessons learned by Mr. Talha Khalid while navigating his diverse professional journey across the government sector, private sector, startups, and consultancy. The fundamental principle that connect every dot in a person's life, like experiences, daily interactions, and transactions, form the foundation for future outcomes and contributes a meaningful pixel to the vibrant picture of one's life. It also outlines the essential mindset required to enable sustainable growth in both our personal and professional lives. Let's welcome Talha with his icebreaker speech called what is it called? Connecting the dots. That's what it is. Thank you. The floor is yours, Talha.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. My dear fellows, let me take you through a journey. The journey that starts in year 1995. A mother holding the hand of its 8 years old son walking through the street says, "Son, you have to be an engineer." The only impression at that point in time gained by that son was probably the engineer is the one who suffers from the allergy. Anyways, from that point, every single effort, every single late night, and every single resource was channeled to make this dream happen. And it did eventually gracefully, and I became an engineer. But the story does not end here. 10 years after becoming my engineer, I was doing my master's in economics. And at that point, the thought came multiple times into my mind that Talha, you have wasted your career becoming an engineer and choosing the technical profession because logically and with your capability set, you are basically an economist. But probably the life has its own way to tell me the significance of every single step. My dear fellows, let's pause here and turn to the other chapter of my life, which is my professional life. Immediately after becoming an engineer, I joined an industry that produced paper and I learned the very core technical functions. 1.5 years down the road, the thought came into my mind that I don't want to spend my whole life saying that I made papers. And this is where I thought I need to serve the public sector with the public at large. And I joined the public sector in the electricity business. Therein, while working in the technical department, I first met my mentor of the professional life. And he told me what are the values that needs to be pursued. Collectively, we built together a new institution in the public sector, which is the electricity market operator of Pakistan. While we were navigating through this journey, I met a very old person. And while we were talking and sharing the perspectives, I learned and I believed it quite firmly by coming back that I need to build my own institution and have to be an entrepreneur. This is where I started and built my first startup, then the second startup. Because of my diverse journey, working in the being an engineer, having the degree in the economics, working in the private sector to working in the government sector, I was selected as a consultant in one of the Ministry of Energy of Pakistan. And this is where I was tasked to build a new institution. And every single experience, right from the private sector to the government sector, having being my own entrepreneur and developing my own institution, where I was simultaneously a CEO as well as a sweeper of the company, that experience helped me to build a new institution, which we proudly called as the Mackenzie of the power sector of Pakistan. Now, my dear colleagues, let's pause here. Let's rewind this entire journey. Every single transaction was meant for a purpose. Every single dot of this entire journey was connected. And every single dot that I worked on prepared me for the next ladder that I need to perform. As Steve Jobs says, you can't connect the dot looking forward. You only can connect the dots looking backward. So what's the bottom line, my dear fellows? Any single field, any single part of your life, every single transaction, every single interaction is serving a purpose. There are no wasters, there are no dead ends. Every single interaction and every single transaction serve you to prepare you for the next journey, for the next ladder. So what is the mindset that I can offer you from my experience through the diverse journey? There are only three of them. The first one, you have to give 100% in your every single daily transaction that you are working on. Second part, you have to have the faith. And lastly, you have to be patient enough because life does not promise you to reflect the importance of that pixel of your life in the instant moment. Sometimes it takes minutes, but sometimes it takes decades to reveal itself. And I'll conclude my speech with the famous saying of the Tony Robbins. Life is always working for you. Life is not working to you. Believe it, move forward, and the best of luck. Over to you, Mrs. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's show Talha so much love. Talha, that was amazing. One thing that Talha, well, his speech also was full of nuggets, but one of the things that he mentioned was mentorship. And in Toastmasters, you are able to get mentorship. And that's something really important because we need to lift each other up. And Talha, thank you so much. Congratulations on delivering your icebreaker speech. I thought that was amazing, but that's up to your evaluator to tell you. I know there's a lot of things to say about that. That's amazing. And let's move on to our next. This is our second part of the meeting. And I also want to welcome Lempi, who is here from Africa. I'm not sure which country, but she's here from Africa. So she's
South Africa. South Africa.
South Africa. Okay. She's here visiting us from South Africa. I know it's very late for her over there. So thank you so much, Lempi, for being here. And let's move on to our next part of our meeting, which is our table topics with the very best, Rick Muci. Rick, take it away.
Thank you. Did you know that in the United States, only 8% of business owners have been 3.5 years or more in business? That leaves a huge part of the population that are not business owners. About 10 years ago, this percentage was about 3 to 5%. So entrepreneurs are becoming everywhere because the numbers are doubling up. So just imagine in another 10, 20 years, it might get to 15, 20%. What is the main difference of the best entrepreneurs versus the startups that fail? And I believe it's all about the founders themselves. How much does that person know about themselves? And this is what we really want to exercise today in Table Topics. I would like to ask, and we're all entrepreneurs here, one way or another. I would like to start off with my first question, and if it connects with you, please raise your hand, and I would like for you to give me your best shot at it. Let's start off with, if an investor was talking about you as an entrepreneur and your business, what is the best thing they would say about you? I would like to go with Nurka.
Can you repeat the question?
If an investor was speaking about you and your business and you as an entrepreneur, what are they going to say is the best thing about you?
That's a hard question. If the if investor would talk about me and my business, one thing that they would say is proven capabilities and logistical advantage. A track record of steady operations and and resilience. I have to keep talking.
Yeah, keep going, keep going.
Another thing that would say was, I don't know if an investor would like that, is it is heart-centered, mission-oriented, but also positivity oriented. So on a medium that there's so much negativity, it will stand up as a comparison.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, next question. What is something about you that most people underestimate? I would like to call on Bianca on this one, please.
I knew you were coming to me, fellow Toastmasters.
Yes.
That is a great question. I like to use the terminology speak softly and carry a big stick. Only hide the stick behind you because it's all about being honest and bold. But boldness doesn't have to come across as the tiger in the room or the elephant in the room. In my case, people always tell me, Bianca, calm down. You are not a bull in a china closet or an elephant. You have to take one bite at a time. But my enthusiasm that I bring to the table every time just puts people back in their chair. They are watching the aura and the glow of my passion. And through that passion comes this boldness to ask for the business, to ask for the deal, to not step back. Because if you want me, I want you to see what you get right up front. Maybe you don't want to work with me. That's okay. But mostly you will, because everyone benefits from a little bit of Bianca. Table topic master.
Yes, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I love it. All right, now to the third question. What would be your edge as an entrepreneur? What skill have you picked up over the years that you've become a master of? Who would like to volunteer? Who would like to answer this one for me?
Talha.
All right, here we go.
Talha.
Go ahead.
Can I speak?
Yes.
Thank you. So, as an entrepreneur, the best thing that I have learned and gives a competitive edge is having experience of carrying out multiple startups. So, going through the multiple startups, eventually I have found three core skills that probably I think give me an edge over the rest of the startups. A part, my tendency or my progressive tendency to in fact weigh every single transaction on the first principles basis. A part. Secondly, the thing that I have learned, obviously with having incurred the financial loss, is to weigh everything on the basis of the outcome and not the process. So outcome first, process later. And lastly, but most importantly, the last skill that I have learned over this process, that your skill in a given domain matters most when you have the tendency to apparently connect different disjoint fields into a single transaction and create an exponential value. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Good job. Excellent. How are we doing with time? Can I keep
One
going?
more question.
All right, one more. Perfect. All right. This one is okay. So, what is your favorite characteristics about yourself, your personality? It could be funny, it could be just, all around cheerful. What is it about your personality and yourself that gives you that edge? I would like to ask Samantha, please.
All right, got to talk about myself now.
Yes, yes, this is what it's all about. Let's do it.
All right, as an entrepreneur, one of the things that I really like about myself is I love to learn. I started my business right out of college and knew immediately that I had a lot to learn. I went to marketing conferences every chance that I got, usually the free ones. And then when I was able to save up some money, I would go to the paid ones. This ended up paying off quite a lot because I would make a lot of really great connections at these places. I joined the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce for a few years at one point, was able to learn from a lot of the speakers there. It's one of the reasons why I'm here, because I want to know how to be a better speaker, a better presenter. I want to be able to show up for my clients in a way that shows that I'm knowledgeable. Um, I also love learning about other people. So that's why I like sitting and listening to people's stories. But if when you're a forever student, it can really benefit you in a lot of ways. So that's that.
Excellent. That's a great point. Entrepreneurs are learning every single day, and that's the key. I love it. All right, to wrap up, I would like to give a summary of everybody's feedback. I would like to start off with Nurka. I asked her about if an investor would describe her and her business, what would they say? She definitely has a logistical advantage, steady operation. She's very mission oriented and very positive. That's a great, great recipe. Good job on that. Then we went with Bianca. Bianca, we all know why you're a good salesperson. It's clear. It's the energy. And even if you don't have the energy, just Bianca it, do it. Just do it. So we all need to learn from that energy. And basically being honest and bold, and of course the glow of passion. That's my favorite part. I love passionate people. It just makes you feel good when you're around them. Then I would like to go to Taha. Taha has a lot of experience in business, and he really is a very structured person. He gave us his top 3 executions, and I really, really want to learn more from Taha. Then Samantha, a business owner, and she loves to learn. I think all of us connected with that. And she kept going to many events. In a way, today we're attending an event, but also you can go to a human event, and that really works. I've done many business events. I've met some of my biggest mentors, and the energy coming out of it when you come back to your business on Monday is so powerful. So I recommend it to anybody. Great job, everyone, and thank you for participating.
Thank you so much, Rick, for those amazing questions. And my new word is Bianca it. So let's
Yes.
just take 10 seconds to send our vote secretly to Ingrid, who is our vote counter. And let's send her our votes. Let me do my vote right now. Oh, we have to do chat. Just go on the 3 little dots above her name, chat directly with her, and put table topics. And who am I going to vote for? Oh my God, it's so hard. So, all right, I voted. I hope everybody else voted. Now let's move on to our third portion of our meeting, which is our evaluations. And for that, I am first, okay, let me call, our general evaluator who's going to call on the evaluation team. Go ahead, Ramon.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, this is our evaluation segment of the meeting. It's a very, very important part of the meeting because not only do our speakers, will they receive feedback live today from our evaluator, but our functionaries, our Toastmaster of the day and our Table Topics Master will get feedback as well, so that the next person who fills those roles can try to incorporate that feedback. And perhaps when they do the role again, they can incorporate that feedback as well. And so that our next meeting is even better than this one. And sneak preview, this has been a fantastic meeting so far. So with that, let me just remind everyone, our first speaker, our guest speaker, is going to receive a written evaluation from Distinguished Toastmaster Betty Ortiz-Valdez. Betty, thank you very much for doing that. We'll move on directly to evaluator number 2, Toastmaster Bianca Moreras, who will be evaluating our icebreaker speech today by Talha Khalid. Toastmaster Bianca, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, fellow Toastmasters. What a wonderful speech. Talha, first of all, wow. You just joined our club. You have a presence already, and I'm so happy we got to know more about you and your business journey. Starting as a little guy, right? You did an amazing job, and I'm sorry because I lost my evaluation form. I have to pull it back up. I'm so sorry. Come on, come on, come on. All right. You started off with, taking us through the steps. You were clear, concise. You build the momentum of taking us through your journey, and that is wonderful. You took the time to explain in little nuggets the different thought processes of how you got from working and the thought process of an engineer, going into economics, working in the public sector, and then working in the government. And then, astounded by, I'm sure, your entire family, you became someone that was building energy for your country. Wow. I love that we learned all about your professional background. I was hoping to hear a little bit about you, a little bit about your family and where you're from. So that's the next speech, I'm sure. You could use that with your tonality or your body language. So I'm excited to hear more about that. I love the fact that you gave us 3 nuggets to take with us, which was you have to give 100%. You have to have faith. People forget about that. All things are possible, right? With God in our pocket. And patience. How many of us don't have patience? We want it today. We want it now. We want instant gratification. Your tonality showed your patience, your faith, and your 100%. I love that you stood up during your speech. You're the man, okay? You got this. What I think you can work on is maybe just standing a little further away so we could see more of your body. So we're not just looking at your hand. So we're seeing the whole explosiveness of things. And then maybe as an example, changing your tone. I'm sure your dad was very gentle when he was talking to you as a young man. And then build on the momentum and excitement of your journey, because bravo to you. You excelled. You did much. Only thing I say about challenging yourself is keep going. And before June 30th, I would like to see Pathway 1 done. Congratulations. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bianca, for that fantastic evaluation. Before I give my evaluation of the meeting as a whole, I'd like to hear from our functionaries. Let's begin with our timer. Timer, could you, Sebastian, could you please give us a timers report? Oh, we can't hear you. It's odd because we can't hear you, but you're not muted. How about we let's do the grammarian's report and we'll come back to your report. Is that okay? All right, let's go ahead and move on and have our grammarian Toastmaster Michael Strong Mason. Michael, would you please give us your grammarian's report?
Absolutely. So first and foremost, I didn't hear anything in the I counter responsibility, so we'll move on from there. And I may have gotten this wrong because I got very involved in today's meeting. In regards to who used the word of the day was Lois, Maria, Ramon. There may have been a couple other people, but I didn't pick it up. What I will share with you are people who use, there was not any real improper languages, but the quotes today were phenomenal. So Lois, the question that she asked, which was so pertinent, leadership skills in Toastmasters, that stood out because people never think about the leadership that comes with Toastmasters. 1 foot at a time, learning skills I knew nothing about. Being a leader was something different than being a boss. The one thing that I will say with Tama was the quote that in order to connect the dots, you must look backwards in order to move forward. And giving 100% in order to, it's always interesting when you're trying to do this. With your diverse background in engineering, economics, public sector, and private sector, and you must give 100%, have faith and patience. And that's the end of my report at this point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Back to our timer, Sebastian. Sebastian, can you give us your timer's report, please?
Hello, can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Great, thank you. All right, so everybody was within the time. Lois, her speech was 14 minutes and 45 seconds. Talha's speech was 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Nurka's table topics was 1 minute and 33 seconds. Bianca was 1 minute and 18 seconds. Talha was 1 minute and 18 seconds. Samantha was 1 minute and 21 seconds. And Bianca's was 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Everybody was within time. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Sebastian. Now we'll move on to my general evaluation of the meeting as a whole. I want to first start off by noting that we started on time. This was a fantastically energetic open house. The way our Toastmaster of the day, Maria, started us off was you set the tone for the meeting, which is exactly what you want to do for a meeting like this, where first impressions are everything for guests. You led the meeting very effectively, very smoothly. You clearly have been Toastmaster of the day many, many times before, and it shows. My one area of feedback, perhaps for the next open house, I would have loved to have seen, and this is something we just tried at my home club, West Kendall, more opportunities for testimonials from other members about their Toastmasters experience as well. Perhaps like a round robin testimonial feedback thing, which we could share ideas after. But otherwise, our guest speaker gave her testimony about what Toastmasters has done for her, and it was super, super compelling. Just one idea. But overall, fantastic job. And for our table topics master, Toastmaster Rick, very, very well done. I love how you started the table topics segment with some data about how entrepreneurial rates are going up. You sort of set the context for the segment. It was a very on-point tabletop topic session. Another thing you did very well is you summarized all the responses at the end of your segment, which helps people vote. In terms of improvement for next time, I would always try to this is something that I always mess up as table topics master, and I try to do better at. Let's remind speakers that they have to try to get that 1 to 2 minute mark at the beginning of your segment. We mention it at the beginning of the meeting, but then we kind of forget, and then people only speak for 30 seconds, 40 seconds. And so I always try to remind Table Topics Masters, remind people to really get to that green light 1 minute. But overall, very effective, masterfully done. So that is my evaluation of the meeting. In the interest of time, please remember to vote for the best table topic speaker. Send a private chat to Ingrid. And at this time, I'll hand the meeting back over to our Toastmaster of the day, Maria. Back to you.
Thank you so much. All these functionaries, job well done. We do have winners, actually. And we're picking 3 winners today. And thank you to Ingrid for so nicely counting these out. So number 1. Oh, you know what? I'm going to start with number 3. Samantha. Number 3. Number 2, Talha. Number 1, Bianca. Woo! I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness. This group is, just hearing Talha, all the things that he has accomplished, and Rick and everybody, like all these accomplishments that have been done by all of these people, is like, I feel like, whoa, what am I doing here? Talk about imposter syndrome. It's just so amazing. Let's take a quick photo so that we can post it on our social media. And I do urge all of you to please follow us on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and smile. Nurka, look this straight up. Got it. Thank you. We are also in all of Facebook and Instagram. Now, our next meeting.
Yes.
I want to take a second to ask Stephanie, what did you think about our meeting?
Hi, everyone. So this is my second meeting at Toastmasters, and this one was very content heavy, but I learned a lot. It's like what you said, every speech was so impressive, right? And I just thought everyone was so good in like explaining their main points, and it really carried through. So I really truly enjoyed hearing everyone's stories and hearing about what they had to overcome and the lessons that they learned. They just articulated it so well and told that story so smoothly. So I aim to be that. I thought it was very inspiring, for sure, to hear from absolutely everyone today. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for coming. I hope that you'll join us, and I hope that you see yourself as Talha, being there and delivering your first speech. That is his first speech, and it's hard to believe that he's delivering his first
Big
speech
shoes to
because
fill.
he felt so comfortable.
Yes.
Who's talking? Betty? Do you have something? Okay. Also, who do we have? Lempi? Lempi, can you say a few words? No. Okay. So Samantha, we do have just go to Miami Business Speakers on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and all of the social platforms. We are Miami Business Speakers, Toastmasters. You should be able to find us that way. Our next meeting is March 12th. Remember, here in the United States on March 8th, there's going to be a time change. So we're going to spring forward, which is 1 hour ahead. So just keep that in mind for those international folks that we have here, that, because of that. Lois, do you have 30 seconds to say, what did you think about our club and our people?
I thought you guys did a great job. You brought it home and you ended on time, which is so incredibly important. Thank you for inviting me. It's a great group.
It was a pleasure to have you here. Last business thing that we have, it's our conference renewals. Okay, so renewals for those of us that joined through March 31st, we have to renew so that we go through September, and the renewal period is going on right now. I urge you to please make those payments. You can do them directly online. Ramon is going to be checking everyone that has or has not, and sending you an invoice if you haven't. So please go ahead and do those. Other than that, I don't know. Betty, do you have anything else to say?
Nope, everything's perfect. Thank you all.
Awesome. Talha, you're going to get a certificate because you were amazing. So thank you. This adjourns the meeting. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye now.
Oh, Stephanie, whoever wants to stay behind, I'm happy to stay. Lempi. anybody who wants to stay behind to say any other words, I'll be happy.
Great job. Thank
Thank you so
you.
much,
Have a good
everyone.
day.
Sebastian, thank you so much.
Thank you. And I'll be in touch with Betty, right, for
Okay.
next steps and seeing how we could, discuss memberships and what those options look like.
Awesome.
Will.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
for inviting me again. I'm
Like that.
really happy.
Sure.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
I think that, when you can picture yourself up there doing a speech,
Yes.
you're like, I can do this.
Yes, it's a fear I'm trying to overcome, right?
Right.
I feel like I can speak well, but I have to practice a lot. It has to be somewhat scripted, but to do it off the cuff,
No,
that's
it's
one thing I
okay.
struggle
It's
with.
okay if it's scripted. Betty can tell you, she said she didn't do her first icebreaker like 6
Like
months.
6 months. Yeah.
And for me, maybe 2 months, and Talha like 2 weeks. So everybody's at a
Everyone's
different
different.
pace. So yeah,
Did you
Ramon.
want to start in March or in April, Stephanie?
I would say let's do March. I think I can
Perfect.
start in March. Yes.
You want to do your icebreaker in March as well?
Maybe April
April.
to give me time.
She's got to
All
read
right.
the curriculum.
Yes,
Curriculum
but I'll be
first.
taking notes heavily in March and practicing all month.
I sure wish we had more time, because I thought that, to have more table topics and have more involvement. Through table topics is how I feel like we get to know people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you develop your confidence that way too. The last meeting I was
Right.
able to participate in the table topics, and it was very frightening at first, but afterwards I felt very, like compelled to do more. So you just have to practice it actively. So
Absolutely, and that's we try to do that here. So yeah, we had that special speech, which was longer than usual, but it was totally worth it. She was amazing,
I thought
and
she
we
was
loved
amazing.
hearing it. She was.
So
Ramon,
did
you
I.
have any words of wisdom for Stephanie?
The only thing I would offer is that I found that when I started Toastmasters, my feedback on for example, my icebreaker and my initial speeches they're pretty positive, but it took me 4 days to prepare or more.